הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. Shabbat Shalom and welcome everyone. Good morning. Good morning, Rabbi Leibel.
Good morning, Rabbi Mas. Good to see you again. I'm missing you for the last couple of weeks. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
You look good. You look good.
Yeah, thank you. We had a little scare there, but everything was good. Thank you so much for so many people that they contacted me during the week asking for my son. He's totally fine. It wasn't COVID. So it's all good. Good morning, Bill.
Is he feeling better, though?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he's already hanging from the ceiling again. So it's great to be here. So many people here on the chat already, and we are going to acknowledge everyone. We are going to read every message. And by the way, if you're new to our services, we'd like to know more about you. I have an idea. Why don't you type on the chat the word new? And then we also give the opportunity to all our friends to give you a big and warm charismatic welcoming to our service. So we'd like to know more about you and to follow up after the service. And we have a great service ahead of us for today. This is the first Shabbat of the month of Kislev. And I read a little midrash today. It was very interesting that it said that Kislev is the combination of two words. Which words, Rabbi? Kislev. Kis,
Yeah.
which means,
Are we talking in English?
in Hebrew,
Oh, a pocket?
pocket, lev,
Well, not spelt like that, but heart.
but it sounds like that. So they
Well,
said,
if you go by how it sounds.
yeah, it sounds,
we-
but how it sounds. So they will say that this is the month that brings blessing to the pocket and to the heart.
Oh, really? That's cool. I like that.
But it's also something that is very interesting because we are in the middle, for our international friends that they might not be aware, we are in the middle of a very serious lockdown here in Winnipeg.
That's right.
And the recommendation is to stay at home. And oh coincidence, what we read in this parsha, it's about Jacob and Esau. And it says that Esau was a hunter, but Jacob stayed at home. So we are all Bnei Israel. We are the descendants of Jacob. And we should learn from this parsha to stay at home so we can beat this virus as soon as possible and we can go back to normal. So, who's here? It's Ezrike. Who is Ezrike? Ezrik? Shabbat Shalom. Yehuda Cherny, Yerach, Leizerovich, Osmani, Shabbat Shalom, Stephen Cantor, Jerome Fomin, Leon Pinkovich, Sandy Polanski, Bonnie Cham, Terry Kushner, Evelyn Hecht, with all the heads, it's there. Bonnie Robinson, Lon Raber, Corey Glassberg, Alice Wiseman. All is good, Bill. Alice is there.
Thank you. Corey's from Toronto. Just want to say hello, Toronto.
So, welcome everyone. Remember, the chat is open. We want to hear about you. Let's begin with our service. And as always, remember to participate. Everything goes better if you are a participator, not just a spectator. I know the temptation is big when you're in front of a screen. We usually sit in front of a screen to watch. But this time, we want you to be in front of a screen participating with us. Let's begin counting our blessings. Page 5. Please rise. Birkot HaShachar. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shenatatabi, Shenatatabi, Tehorahi, Tehorahi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher nata'al la'asek v'vinalev k'minyom v'layla.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani betzalmo.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani ben chorihin.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Israel.
Amen.
Together.
Elohai,
Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shenatatavi, Shenatatavi, Tehorahi, Tehorahi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokeif kefufim.
Amen.
Together. Elohai, Elohai. Neshama, Neshama. Shenatatabi, Shenatatabi. Tehorahi, Tehorahi. Page 6. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, roka haaretz alamayim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa li kol tzorki.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamehi mitzadei kaver.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Israel v'gevura.
Amen.
Together. Elohai, Elohai. Neshama, Neshama. Neshama, Neshama. Shenatatabi, Shenatatabi. Tehorahi, Tehorahi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, oter Israel v'tifara.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, anotel layaef kohat.
Amen.
Let's try again. Elohai, Neshama,
Neshama.
Shenatatabi,
Shenatatabi.
Tehorahi, and you may be seated as we welcome Lillian Neiman, that she's there for a very special reason. You will
Yeah.
know a little bit later. Let's give the surprise.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
I was going to say because it's Shabbat.
Jackie Sipe,
Am I wrong?
Mary Nazen, and Sharon Nazen. Jay Legoff, hello. And you're with your family. Terry from the United States. Listen, go back. Okay. And okay. Welcome everyone. Let's continue now. Sorry, you have to stand again.
I was wondering if you're going to say that.
1 week off and I'm out of practice. Page 7, Baruch She'amar. Please rise. Baruch She'amar ve'aya olam. Baruch Oseh Bereshit. Baruch Omer ve'oseh. Baruch Ozer u'mekayem. Baruch merachem al haaretz. Baruch merachem al haberiyot. Baruch meshalem tzachar tov lire'av. Baruch chai la'ad. V'kayam lanetzach. Baruch podeh u'matzil. Baruch Shemot together. La 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 la. You can dance. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La da da la da da la da la 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 da da la 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 da la 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 da 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 la la da la la. You may be seated now for sure. Page 8, middle of the page. Psalm 150. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. El Bekodesho. Hallelujah. Birkia uzo. Hallelujah. Bigvorotav. Hallelujah. Kerov gudlo. Hallelujah. Veteka shofar. Hallelujah. Benevel vechinon. Hallelujah. 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 Vetofu machol. Hallelujah. Veminim veukav. Hallelujah. Vetzilz leshama. Hallelujah. Vetzilz letrua. Golan shama de Hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
Shikoyach, Rabbi. Beautiful.
Thank you. Baruch Tieh. Please rise for the Mourner's Kaddish now. We're on page 46. Itgadal ve'itkadash shemei Rabbah. Ve'alma divera chidute ve'yamlich malchute ve'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Israel ba'agala u'v'zman kari ve'imru. Amen.
Amen.
יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירם בעלמה ויאמרו אמן.
Amen.
יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה. וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן.
Amen.
עושה שלום עם רמיו ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו
Amen.
amen. You may be seated as we return now to page 10. Second paragraph, Shochenat Marom. Shochenat Marom Vekadosh Shemo.
Shochenat Marom Vekadosh Shemo.
Befi Yesharim Titalal V'divrei tzadikim Titba'arach ובלשון חסידים תתרומם וקרב קדושים תתקדש. Bottom of the page, the Chatzi Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
ועלמה דברה חירותה וימליך מלכותי וחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בקלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן
Amen.
יש מרבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי
Amaya.
יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמת קודשה ברכו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמידם בעלמא ואמרו 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 Amen. And please rise now for an opportunity to return the favor, to bless God, the source of all blessing. What a beautiful teaching. What a beautiful teaching. To recognize that God is the source of blessing and at the same time to return those blessings to God. That's a trait that we should all learn in our lives. To always be a giver. It's nice to receive, but we always have to give back. Page 12, the Baruch. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach
Baruch Adonai Avorach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uvorech oshech oseh shalom uvoret hakol. And you may be seated. And let's continue now with the blessing before the Shema Israel. Ve'aer eineinu. Ve'aer eineinu V'toratecha V'toratecha V'tabek libenu V'mitzvotecha V'mitzvotecha Ve'aer eineinu V'toratecha V'toratecha V'tabek libenu V'mitzvotecha V'mitzvotecha V'yachet levav הגדול והנודע. בטחנו נגילה ונשמחה בישועתך. האר עינינו בתורתך, בתורתך, ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך, במצוותיך. ברוך אתה אדוני הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה. שמע ישראל, page 14. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. 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 Come on everybody. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. 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 page 15. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך וקומך. וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. Please continue silently, bottom of page 15, the whole page 16 and top of page 17. Adonai Elohim Emet.
Emet.
Page 17, middle of the page, Mi Chamocha. Mi Chamocha Ba'elim Adonai, Mi Kamocha Nedar B'Kodesh, Nora Tehilo, Osefele. Mi Chamocha Ba'elim Adonai, Mi Kamocha Nedar B'Kodesh, Nora Tehilo, Osefele. Shira Chadasha, Shivechuke Ulim Leshimcha, Al Sfat Hayam, Yachad Kulam, Odu ve'imlichu ve'amru, Adonai Imloch le'olam va'ed. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot, Osefele. Please rise. Tzur Israel, Bezrat Israel. V'dechinu mechayeu dape Israel, Go aleinu Adonai tzvaot shemo, Kedosh Israel. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot, Osefele. Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Shemo.
Gal Israel.
Amen.
And let's continue now with the Amidah, our central prayer on page 18. This is our opportunity to strengthen our connection with God. That's the intention of the Amidah, to create the conditions to develop a mindset where we can feel that we are in front of our Creator and we have the opportunity to open up our heart and to share with God everything we want, our joys and our sorrows, and to allow God to be part of our lives. In order to achieve that, we like to give you a few options. Number one, you can use the Hebrew printed in your Sidurim. Number two, you can use the English printed in your Sidurim. Number three, you can use your own words of prayer. Number four, all of the above. You can combine them as you wish, because the most important thing of this part is for you to find that kavanah, that intention, that it will allow you to feel the presence of God in your life. So let's do it together. We start singing together on page 18, and then we will have an opportunity to continue silently. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות, ומביא גואל לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, קיים את אימתה, רב להושיע, משיב הרוח מוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיים מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך מימין ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה המתים. Bottom of page 20, the קדושה. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו, בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא אל זה ואמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. אז בקול רעש גדול, אדיב חזק משמיעים קול, מתנסים לעומת צרפים, לעומתם ברוך יאמרו, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. ממקומך מלכנו, מלכנו תופיע, ותמלוך עלינו, מחכים אנחנו לך. מתי, 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 תמלוך בציון, בקרוב בקרוב ימינו, לעולם בעת נשכון, תתגדל ותתקדש בתוך ירושלים עירך, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, ולנצח נצחים, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, ולנצח נצחים. ועינינו תראנה, תראנה מלכותך, כדבר אמור בשירי עוזך, על ידי דוד משיח צדקך, על ידי דוד משיח צדקך. ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון לדור ודור. Hallelujah. Page 22, second paragraph. Please, let's sing together, לדור ודור. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. Join me. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. בשבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. בשבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. כי אל מלך גדול וקדוש אתה, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. Please continue silently with your Amidah. קדיש שלם, page 32. יתגדל יתקדש שמדבר,
Amen.
יעלמד דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, וחייכון יום מקום כתב ישראל והגלה בזמן קריב וימרו.
Amen.
יש מדבר מבורך, לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ותרום ותרום ותנשא ותדר ותעלה ותעלה על שמדי קודשה. בריחו לאין לה מכל כתב ושידתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה תמיד מעלמה וימרו.
Amen.
תתקבל צלותו נבואותיהם לכל ישראל קודם בבון ובשמיה וימרו.
Amen.
יש למה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל וימרו.
Amen.
עושה שלום ממרומיו ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן.
Yasher Koach, Rabbi.
Yasher Koach, Rabbi.
Thank you for leading us through Shachrit. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
Just before we move on to the Torah service, which I know you're going to lead for us before you head over to the Aliyot, some people had noticed on the chat that we are missing or we're without Leslie Emery today. She's got herself a day off, and we are able to make this happen because we have a very special volunteer who has taken on a huge chunk of the Torah service this morning, our first 3 Torah readings, and our Haftarah for a very special occasion that she's commemorating as well. But Barb Neiman is all masked up and with us and ready to get up and read the Torah. And so Barb is here in Leslie's place. Leslie is okay. Everything is good. Don't worry. We're just making sure we take care of people during this time. And she'll be back, God willing, next week. So we're thrilled to have Barb here. I think it's the first time Barb's been in the synagogue in quite some time. So it's great to have Barb. She's got her mask and her gloves. She's ready. So she'll be reading from the Torah when we get to it. But first, of course, we have the
and then,
Torah service.
First, we welcome Jiku and Michael Legoff. They just joined our service. So welcome to all of you.
That's nice.
And the Lashev family are here too.
Are you ready? Are you ready, Rabbi?
Yeah, I'm ready. Please rise, page 33. ויהי בנשוא אהרון ויאמר משה קומה אדוני ויפוצו אויביך וינוסו משנאיך מפניך כי מציון תצא תורה ציון תצא תורה ודבר אדוני מירושלים ברוך שנתן תורה תורה ברוך שנתן תורה תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adoneinu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adoneinu, Kadosh Shemo.
גדלו לאדוני איתי ונרוממה שמו יחדיו לך אדוני הגדולה והגבורה והתפארת לנצח והוד, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ, כל בשמיים ובארץ, אדוני הממלכה, והעם מתנשא לכל ראש. רוממו,
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 אדוני אלוהינו, והשתחוו,
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 לאדון רגליו קדוש הוא. רוממו,
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 אדוני אלוהינו, והשתחוו,
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 להר קודשו, כי קדוש, כי קדוש, אדוני אלוהינו. You may be seated.
Thanks, Rabbi. Yasher Koach again.
ברוך תהיה.
Beautiful. Ah, yes. And so now we're ready to move into the next part of the service, the Torah reading. We are going to switch books for this. If you have a copy of the red Etz Chaim Chumash, looks like this. Or, don't worry if you don't. Just like with all our Sidurim, our Chumashim are available, or our printouts, I guess, not the entire Chumash, but our printout for the weekly Parsha, in this case Toldot, can be found at our website, szwinnipeg.ca. So make sure that you've got that. You'll find where it says Sidurim and readings that you can find the printouts from the Chumash for today's Parsha, which again I mentioned is Toldot. Toldot. And we are in the second triennial cycle, as you know, so we're reading the middle of all these Parshas. And today we start off looking at Yitzchak, Isaac. We're going to be picking up our reading in the middle or towards the end of a chapter, chapter 26 in the book of Breshit, the book of Genesis, chapter 26. Our first couple of aliyot finish off the chapter, and then we move into chapter 27, which is quite a famous chapter. We don't get the whole chapter today, but we get the first half of it, which deals with one of the most famous, familiar, and probably best examples of the literary beauty and magnificent literary quality of the Bible, in particular, early parts of the Bible, in the Torah and in the book of Breshit. I'm talking about the very famous scene where Jacob deceives his father, Isaac, to receive the preferred parental blessing, the deathbed blessing that Isaac, of course, wants to give to his older of his twin sons, his preferred son, Esav. But Yaakov, as we know is God's plan, remember, I think we should mention that off the top, is supposed to get the blessing. Instead, the line that leads to Judaism is supposed to continue through Yaakov. But he's not the firstborn, he's the secondborn, and we know this very famous scene where he deceives his father. We will get to that. That makes up the majority of today's Torah reading. It's kind of the climax of what we read here in triennial year 2 with Toldot. We'll get to that. But we begin with a look at Yitzchak. There's not a lot about Yitzchak himself in the Torah. Lots about Abraham, lots about Yaakov. Yitzchak is, kind of involved in their stories in the most famous way. The binding of Isaac. That's more an Abraham story than a Yitzchak story. And then this story, where the blessing is stolen right from Yitzchak when he's blind and old and dying, that's more of a Yaakov story. But there are a few Yitzchak stories. One, of course, his incredible love story with Rivka. We looked at that last week. And this one, we pick up kind of the end of a story where he goes through territory in the south of Israel and Canaan, and where Avraham, his father, had dug up these wells that had been stopped up by the Plishtim, by the Philistines. And Yitzchak, quite literally walking in his father's footsteps, reopens all these wells and gives them the same names that his father had given them. So that's kind of the context for where we are going to begin today's Torah reading. It's page 152 if you've got the Etz Chaim Chumash, page 152. If you're following another Chumash, we'll give you the chapter and verses here in the book of Genesis, chapter 26, verses 23 through 29. Just before we get in, again, Barb Neiman is with us to read our first 3 aliyot and then later the Haftarah. And today we have a number of very special commemorations. Not a single open aliyah. We have several people commemorating very important yortzites in their lives and in their families. And we've got a couple of great celebrations, a couple birthdays and anniversaries, so it should make for a very exciting Torah service. So buckle up. Here we go, page
Just before we
152.
start, Rabbi,
What's that, Bill?
we have Rabbi Alan Finkel on the line, and I just like his line. He says,
On the line?
on the line.
He's called in?
No, he's...
Oh, he sent a chat.
He,
Oh,
he
okay.
even has
Oh,
his picture in this chat.
okay.
So he says, Shabbat Shalom, and thank you for the beautiful and meaningful service, and thank you, Rabbi, for being part of our service this morning.
That's great. Well, that's awesome. I thought he had called in, like a contest
Well,
winner
he
or
sort of
something like
did.
that. Sure, I gotcha. Well, Bill is going to be doing our first aliyah by proxy. A lot of our honorees are joining us on Zoom this morning. Rabbi Anib Almas is working the Zoom control, so we'll get to see and we'll get to hear from them, so that's exciting. But our first aliyah, our Kohen aliyah, is a birthday. He's a little bashful, so we'll have to sing to him. We know he's watching, but he's not. We're going to get to do he's our honoree. So we're going to do the blessings for him. It's Arnold Zatzer celebrating a very special birthday with this first aliyah to the Torah. As we get into it here, Parshat Toldot. V'yazor v'yashir l'chol ha'chosim bo v'nomar amen. Hakol avu godel Eloheinu tnu chavol Torah ya'amod. Aharon ben Lebesh HaKohen v'chava l'aliyah harishona. Baruch shenatan tromo yisro b'kedushato ve'atem madvikim Adonai Elohechem chaim kochem hayom.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach.
Baruch Adonai vorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai vorach leolam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato, baruch ata Adonai, noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayal misham be'er shava, vayera elav Adonai b'layla hahu, vayomer Anochi Elohei Avraham Avicha Al Tira Kitcha Anochi Uberachticha V'hirbeti Et Zaracha Ba'avur Avraham Avdi Va'even Sham Mizbeach V'ikra B'Shem Adonai V'et Sham Aholo V'ichra'u Sham Avdei Yitzchak Be'er Ve'avimelech halach elav migrar ve'achuzat mere'ehu ufichol sar tzva'or vayomer alehem Yitzchak madua batem elai ve'atem snetem oti ve'teshalchuni merchem Vayomru ra'orainu ki hayat Adonai imach vanomer tehi na'ala benotenu banenu ubanecha v'nichreta beritimach im ta'ase imanu ra'ah Kasher lo neganucha, v'kasher asinu imcha raktov, v'neshalachacha b'shalom, ata baruch Adonai.
Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chaye olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Arnold Yashikoyach. Many, many happy returns.
We want to wish Arnold Zatzer a very happy birthday, many happy returns of the day to the man I affectionately call Big A. Hope it's a big birthday, Big A. And it's an honor.
Bashful Big A?
Yeah, maybe not. It's an honor for me to give you this Misha Berach on the occasion of your birthday. Misha Berach, Avotenu Avram Yitzchak B'Yakov, Sar Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu Yevarech, Et Aharon ben Levi Shakohen v'Chava, She'Allah Hayom Lichvod HaMakom v'Lichvod HaTorah v'Lichvod HaShabbat, Ulehodot al kol hachasadim asher gamalo Elohim miyom hivaldo ad hayom hazeh hakadosh baruch hu yishmor oto v'et kol mishpachto v'yishlach bracha v'tzacha b'chol ma'aseh yadav im kol Yisrael echa v'nomar Amen. May God, who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah, bless Arnold Zatzer, who has come for an aliyah this morning with reverence for God and respect for the Torah in this Shabbat, grateful to God for the gift of life which he has enjoyed until this day. Arnold, may the Kadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be God, continue to bless you with length of years, with good health, with the pleasures of Torah study, and with the profound satisfaction that comes from a life of ma'asim tovim, a life of good deeds. In celebrating this and other birthdays, may your example remind us, people may count the days of their life, but a person of wisdom makes every day count. Ad mea ve'asrim, to 120, my friend. Mazel tov again, and let us all say, Amen. Simin tov, u'mazel tov, u'mazel tov, v'simin tov, simin tov, u'mazel tov, u'mazel tov, v'simin tov, simin tov, u'mazel tov, u'mazel tov, v'simin tov, yehelanu, 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 u'lecho Yisrael, yehelanu, yehelanu, u'lecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael. Again, happy birthday, Arnold. Yasher Koach, may you go from strength to strength. And Yasher Kochech to Barb Neiman, our first Torah reader.
Absolutely.
Barb, I've been given some technical direction for you. Marvin wants you to watch the mic so that we can hear how good you sound. Barb sounded great with that first Torah reading. No pressure. She's going to continue.
Nice and close.
But now, it's hard. Used to be there's all kinds of people around there to help you as your gabbai, to fix the mic. Now you're flying solo. But we really appreciate Barb being here. And Yasher Kocheh, that was a beautiful first Torah reading. Let's keep going. As I mentioned, this is going to take us to the end of the chapter. And this story about Yitzchak with the wells, very fantastic. Yitzchak, the Midrash says, I alluded to this a little bit in my video. Hopefully you saw the video. Hopefully you subscribe to all of our videos that go out. But the video that went out yesterday for the Weekly Wisdom, I talked to Yitzchak's name. And it's interesting, of the three Avot, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, two of the Avot had their names changed. Avram to Avraham, Yaakov to Yisrael. But God named Yitzchak before he was born as a reaction to Sarah laughing, Yitzchak laughter, and his name stuck all the way through. But there's a Midrash that says one of the reasons he got to keep his name all the way through was because he showed his humility when he went and redug the wells or reopened the wells his father had dug and gave them the same names. There's a story in the Midrash that a father builds a house and his son adds to the house and renames the house. Not so with Yitzchak, and his reward was that he got to keep his name because he showed humility with Avraham's names. I liked it. Hope you did too. Let's keep reading. Sheni, our second aliyah. I should mention, Barb, one of the reasons why this worked out so well is our next honoree is celebrating his birthday as well. That's Lauren Raber. We're going to call him up. He's a Levi, loves the second aliyah. We love that he's here. And for the last few years, Barb and Lauren have been doing this together. Not because Barb's birthday is anywhere near around now, but because Jack Neiman's birthday. Barb's dad, of course, a longtime regular, Minyan, Shabbat, a past president of our synagogue. He and Lauren used to do their birthday aliyah together, right? When did that start? I never found out the story.
I don't know.
It goes back, though.
This is my 5th year.
This is your 5th year doing it. So we've been able to preserve this very important family tradition, this birthday tradition. We've got Lauren with us on Zoom, I hope.
Yeah.
Rabbi, right?
on.
We got Lauren on Zoom. We're going to call him up. Barb's going to get to read. It's beautiful. So Lauren Raber, come on down. It's your birthday aliyah. Page 153 is where we find Sheni, the second, chapter 26, verses 30 through 33. Yamod Aryeh ben Zeva Levi v'Shoshana v'Aliyah hashniya.
Baruch hu et Adonai.
Oh, wait, no, we got him.
Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Vorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayas lahem mishteh, vayachlu vayishtu, vayashkimu baboker, vayishavu ish leachiv, vayishalchem Yitzchak, vayalchu me'ito bashalom, vayahi bayom hahu, vayavo'u avdei Yitzchak, vayagidu lo, al odot habe'er asher chafaru, vayomru lo matzanu mayim, vayikra ota shiv'a, al ken shem ha'ir be'er sheva, ad hayom hazeh.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Natan Lanu Torat Emet V'chayei Olam Nata B'tochenu. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Lauren, so good to hear you and see you. So great that you're celebrating another birthday with us here, with Barb as part of the Torah reading too, and it's an honor, as I'm a big fan of yours, to give you this special blessing. Misha Beirach, Avotenu, Avram Yitzchak, V'Yakov, Sar, Rivka, Rachel, V'Leah, Hu Yevarech, Et Aryeh ben Zev, Halevi v'Shoshana, She'ala hayom lichvod makom v'lichvod ha'Torah v'lichvod ha'Shabbat, ulehodot al kol hachasadim asher gamalo Elohim miyom hivaldo ad hayom hazeh. HaKadosh Baruch Hu yishmor oto v'et kol mishpachto, v'yishlach bracha v'tzacha b'chol ma'aseh yadav, im kol Yisrael lecha v'nomar, Amen. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah, bless Lauren Raber, who has come for an aliyah this morning with reverence for God and respect for the Torah in this Shabbat, grateful to God for the gift of life which he has enjoyed until this day. Lauren, may the Kadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be God, continue to bless you with length of years, with good health, with the pleasures of Torah study, and with the profound satisfaction that comes from a life of ma'asim tovim, a life of good deeds. In celebrating this and other birthdays, may your example remind us, people may count the days of their life, but a person of wisdom makes every day count. To you we say, many happy returns of the day, Mazel Tov, Ad Mea Ve'asrim, and let us all say, Amen. Simin Tov, Umazel Tov, Umazel Tov, Simin Tov, Simin Tov, Umazel Tov, Umazel Tov, Simin Tov, Simin Tov, Umazel Tov, Umazel Tov, Simin Tov, Yehelanu, 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 Ulecho Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael. Yasher Koach, Lauren, happy birthday. May you go from strength to strength.
Thank you.
Many happy returns.
Beautiful. We'll continue with Shlishi in just a moment. Our third aliyah. Barb's going to read one more for us. Beautiful so far, Barb. This reading takes us into the next chapter. We get this this last line. In fact, these last couple of verses are even offset in the Torah. Some source critics of the Torah think that it belongs later. We're going to hear about Esav going outside of the family, outside of the kinsmen. Remember how big a deal that was last week? when Abraham didn't want Yitzchak to get a wife from among the Canaanites. And so here, just a generation later, Esav is going to take wives. And later, at the end of chapter 27, there's an alternate story to why Yaakov has to go away, because he has to find a wife just like his father Yitzchak did. And Rivka is upset. Why would she be upset? Well, those source critics say that it's because of this incident with Esav not taking wives from back, where the family came from. So that's the explanation, the alternate for why Yaakov has to go to Haran. We know from what we're going to read today that the story it kind of resonates, that we remember more. Why does Yaakov run to Haran? Because he's running away because he stole from Esav and he stole from Yitzchak, and Esav wants to kill him. But we'll see that play out. Just to let you know that this is coming at the beginning of the reading, and then we go into chapter 27, and we are kind of caught up. Yitzchak is old, he's dying, he's blind. The fact that Yitzchak is blind, or that his eyes have dimmed, as the Torah says, is very, very important, because as the narrative plays out over the rest of the Aliyot this morning, there's a lot of care, a lot of attention paid to Yitzchak's other senses. His sense of hearing, his sense of smelling, his sense of tasting, even his sense of touch are all alluded to, because his sense of sight is gone. And that's kind of where he is exposed, where he's vulnerable to Rivka and Yaakov's scheme. So watch that play out. I'll give you another little word or two about that, and then we'll watch the narrative play out, because as I said in the opening, it is one of the most, it's another great example, along with the Akedah, the binding of Isaac, of concise, meaningful, powerful literary storytelling. So we'll see that start here in Shlishi, beginning on page 153. So we get verse 34, and then it'll go into the new chapter and take us through verse 4. Our next honoree, joining us on Zoom for this Aliyah, is Alan Cantor. This morning, Alan is, we're calling Alan to the Torah so that he can mark a yortzeit, the yortzeit of his sister, Laura Burke. Alan, it is very good to have you with us. Shabbat Shalom. We'll continue with your Aliyah now. Ya'amod Elokim Pesach ben Yosef Moshe ve'Esther Pesi l'Aliyah HaShlishit.
Baruch es Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'nasan lanu es Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayehi Esav ben 40 shana. Vayikach isha et Yehudit bat Beeri Hachiti ve'et Basmat bat Elon Hachiti v'tiyena mo'orat ruach le'Yitzchak u'leRivka. Vayehi kizaken Yitzchak v'tichena einav b'meroot vayikra et Esav beno Hagadol vayomer elav beni vayomer elav hineni vayomer hinena zakanti lo yadati yomoti ve'ata sana chelecha tilyecha v'kashtecha ve'tzeh hasadeh u'tzudali tzayid ve'asali matamim ka'asher ahavti v'havia li ve'ochela ba'avur tevarechacha nafshi b'terem amut.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher nasan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natav b'tzleichenu. Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koach, Alan, Shabbat Shalom, and Yashir Kochech to Barb Neiman 3 beautiful Torah readings. Great job. Thank you so much. Barb will join us back on the Bima a little later this morning for the Haftarah. I'll take over and continue the laning, the Torah reading with Rivi E, which is next. It's going to be on page 154. We're in chapter 27 now, verses 5 through 13. Rabbi, do we still need Terry, or has she joined? Terry Kushner, we know you're watching. If you could join us for the Aliyot, we have you marked for the 5th Aliyah coming up. So please join the Zoom Aliyot link, and we want to get you in for your 5th Aliyah. But up next is the 4th Aliyah. I'm going to head over to the reading table and get ready for that, and we'll continue just a second. In fact, while we're doing that, though, I can call Bonnie up. Bonnie Robinson is joining us by Zoom. As with this Aliyah, she is commemorating a very important yortzeit in her life and in her family for her mother, Etty Robinson. So I'll call Bonnie, and we'll get her in on Zoom for this next Aliyah. Again, page 154, verses 5 through 13. Tamod, Miriam bat Ephraim velvo veto, l'Aliyah rivit.
Baruchu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Borach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol hamim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'Rivka shomat b'daber Yitzchak el Esav beno. Vayelech Esav asadeh latzutzayid lehavi. V'Rivka amra el Yaakov bena lemor. Hine shamati et avicha medaber el Esav achicha lemor. Havi alitzayid vaseli matamim ve'ochela. Vavarechecha lifnei Adonai lifnei moti. Ve'atavni shema bekoli asher ani mitzava otach. Lech el atzon ve'kach li misham. Shnei gedayezim tovim. Ve'ese otam atamim lavicha kasher ahev. V'heveta lavicha ve'achal. Bavur asher yivarechecha lifnei moto. Vayomer Yaakov el Rivka imo. Hein Esav achi ish sa'ir. Ve'anochi ish chalak. Ulai yemushuni avi. Ve'hayiti ve'inav kimtatea. Ve'heveti alai klalav elov racha. Vatomer lo imo alai kilalatcha beniach. Shma bekoli velech kachli.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chaye olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch Ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher kochech to Bonnie Robinson, our 4th honoree. Great to hear you and great to see you as well. And a Shabbat Shalom. We'll continue.
Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, great. Yeah. It's awesome to hear them. I can't see everyone. I know everyone else can see you, but I just hear you. But you sound great. To Alan and to Bonnie and to everyone else who's joined us on Zoom, to Lauren as well. Do we have Terry? Did we get Terry on for the 5th Aliyah?
She's trying. She said that she didn't have the link in advance.
Okay.
So
do you
she
want to
has it
switch?
now, but
Do you
I don't see her yet.
Okay. Do you want to switch her with Bonnie
Yeah.
Cham?
Sure, let's do that.
Okay, Bonnie Cham, we're going to move you up to our 5th honoree coming up next, and then Terry will get you in there with number 6. Not to worry. We're going to get everybody in. Bonnie Cham, our next honoree for the 5th Aliyah, Chamishi, is marking the yortzeit of her father, Max Cham, with this Aliyah to the Torah. So we're thrilled to be able to have Bonnie for this honor. Bonnie, of course, was doing what Barb did when I was away, reading Torah a few weeks ago. We're lucky that we've got volunteers who can help out when members of the ritual team and members of the clergy are missing. Now we get Bonnie by Zoom, which is still fantastic, for this next Aliyah. Chamishi, the 5th Aliyah. I want the story to play out. Keep following the story. Page 155, verses 14 through 17, as the plan is now hatched by Rivka. And she's and she's ready. She's getting Yaakov to do this. Remember, the plan starts with Rivka. So let's see now what happens next. 5th Aliyah, page 155, verses 14 through 17. Ta'amod be'laba Moshe v'shulamit l'aliyah hashishit hachamishit.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayelech vayikach vayavel imo, vatas imo matamim kasher ahev aviv. Vatikach Rivka bigdei Esav, bena hagadol hachamudot, asher ita babayit, v'talbesh et Yaakov bena hakatan, ve'torot gedayei ha'izim, hilbishal yadav ve'al chelkat savarav, vatiten et hamatamim et halechem asher asata biyad Yaakov bena.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nota b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher kochech to Bonnie Cham. Great to hear you. Great for everyone else, I'm sure, to see you as well. Thank you for joining us for this Aliyah. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom, bruchti.
Awesome. Do we have Terry? Oh, this is wonderful. We're going to continue in just a moment with She, our 6th Aliyah. We switch things around. It's really great. We can get Terry Kushner in here. Terry has asked for this Aliyah. She would like to honor someone she's remembering as well. We've got the upcoming yortzeit of her grandmother, Mary Gelfand. And Terry Kushner, it's so nice to be able, one of the silver linings of the pandemic is that Terry has been with us pretty much every week since we started doing this, and we are able to have her for Aliyot, which of course we wouldn't be able to do because she's living in Toronto. We're so great that this keeps us connected no matter where we are. It's fantastic. Just before we throw to Terry, coming up here, She, the 6th Aliyah and the 7th Aliyah. This is the end of the Torah reading. This is really the climax of the story. Hope you've been following the story. This is really where it all comes together. Yaakov has the food. He's going to go and see Yitzchak. It's been building to us. We've got the suspense. It's ready. And now we're going to see it play out. Pay attention to how the other senses, Yitzchak's other senses are engaged. And then I'll give you a little story, a great midrash afterwards as we go through it. But She begins, page 155, chapter 27. This Aliyah is verses 18 through 23. Ta'amod Yehudi Tova Bar Yaakov HaKohen Umindal HaKohanah L'Aliyah Hashishit.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamborach
Baruch Adonai Amborach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayavo el avi, vayomer avi, vayomer hineni mi ata beni. Vayomer Yaakov el aviv. Anochi Esav bechorecha, asiti kasher dibarta elai. Kumna shva ve'achla mitzedi, bavur tevarchani nafshecha. Vayomer Yitzchak el beno mazeh miharta limtso beni. Vayomer ki hikra Adonai Elohecha lefanai. Vayomer Yitzchak el Yaakov Yeshana va'amushcha beni. Hatazeh b'ni Esav imlo. Vayigash Yaakov el Yitzchak aviv. Vayemushehu. Vayomer hakol ko Yaakov. V'hayadayim yedei Esav. V'lo hikiro ki hayu yadav kidei Esav achiv seorot. Vayevarchehu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher kochech, Terry. I'm glad we were able to work it out. We were able to see you for the Zoom Aliyah. All the best. Shabbat Shalom, and thanks for staying in touch and staying tuned. It's great to be connected with you. All the best. To Terry, to Bonnie, Cham, and to Bonnie Robinson, to Alan, to everyone with an Aliyah today in honor of somebody, and everyone else who's commemorating your site. May those you are remembering this morning and this week going forward, may their memories be a blessing for you and inspire you to deeds of loving kindness, chesed, in your lives as you remember them. Thank you for honoring them with an Aliyah to the Torah. Usually we combine our 7th and Maftir Aliyah and go straight to it, but we had another celebration which we're going to mark in the 7th Aliyah and then recap with the Maftir, where Barb will get to do the blessings. We'll kick her out of Bill's spot. Absolutely. We'll do the blessings from there. It'll be great. But before we get to that, we have Shvi'i, and we're going to be commemorating a celebration of a very, very special anniversary. I'll tell you about the anniversary, and then I'll share the Midrash when we get to the end of this Torah reading. But of course, in that Torah reading, I tried to slow down for it. One of the ultimate lines of the Torah, probably the entire Torah, certainly the book of Breshit, one of the famous lines between God and Cain, where is your brother? Am I my brother's keeper? That's a very famous line. So is this one. The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esav. Right? And we just had that there. But the Midrash is coming. Let me tell you about our 7th honorees. No Zoom for this one. Bill will be doing the Aliyah by proxy for them. But Harvey and Corinne Ackerman, we hope you're watching because we know that you are celebrating your 56th wedding anniversary, and that's the reason for this Aliyah. November 22nd, 1964, Corinne and Harvey were married right here at Congregation Shered Zedek. Today's the 21st, so we're awfully close to the day on the English calendar. That's tomorrow, 56 years. It is an incredible accomplishment. We wish you all of the best and a happy anniversary, and we're thrilled to have you called up and to do this Aliyah for you as our honorary honorees. Ya'amdu. Oh yes, page 156, verses 24 through 27. Ya'amdu Henoch ben Meir v'chaya Lea b'Moshe ufega l'Aliyah hashvi'it.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach.
Baruch Adonai Barach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Borach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, venatan lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayomer atazeh beni Esav, vayomer ani, vayomer hagisha li ve'achla mitzed beni, leman tevarechecha nafshi. Vayigash lo vayochal vayavelo yain vayesht. Vayomer elav Yitzchak aviv geshana ushkali beni vayigash vayishak lo vayarach et reach begadav vayevarchehu vayomer reach beni kereach sadeh asher bercho Adonai.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chaye olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch Ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. So, as I mentioned, I have every reason to believe that Corinne and Harvey are together and are watching this, and so it's an honor to make this special Misha Berach for the two of you. A very happy anniversary, 56 years. What an amazing, amazing accomplishment together, and may you continue to go from strength to strength with this blessing, hopefully to help you. Misha Berach, Avoteinu Avram Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Sarif Garachav Leah, Hu Yavarech et Henoch ben Meir v'Chaya, v'Chaya Leah b'Moshe u'Fega, ba'avur sheba'u hayom, lehodot l'shem kodsho, al kol ha'chesed asher gamal lahem miyom chatunatam u'miyom simchat libam ad hayom hazeh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu yishmerem v'yatzilem, mikol tzara v'tzukah, mikol nego machala, v'yishlach bracha v'atzlacha b'chol ma'aseh yedehem, im kol Yisrael achehem v'nomar, Amen. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah, bless Harvey and Corinne Ackerman, who are here today with gratitude for all the blessings their 56 years of marriage together have afforded them. Harvey and Corinne, to the both of you we say, may the Kadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be God, protect and deliver you. May you continue to enjoy God's blessings in the new song of your years to come, so that you may always live in joy and gladness, in peace and in companionship. And let us all say, Amen. Hod yeshama behare Yehuda, uvechutzot Yerushalayim. Hod yeshama behare Yehuda, uvechutzot Yerushalayim. Ko satzon veko simcha, ko chatan veko kala. Ko satzon veko simcha, ko chatan veko kala.
Many, 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 many happy returns. Mazel tov.
Again, 56 years.
Wow.
That's an amazing, amazing story. And we're so great to have that as part of our Shabbat morning and our Torah service today. To both of you, all of the best. And again, happy anniversary. I get another crack at the Torah reading. Maftir is the same. Chapter 27, verses 24 through 27, page 156. Barb Neiman's going to be chanting the Haftarah in house for us today, so we've got her for this next Aliyah. I'll share the Midrash. So that line is very famous, but you know what? The clue that tipped off Yitzchak, and it's interesting because Yitzchak, you see, the smell matches up, even the taste of the kiss matches up, the feel of the hair matches up, the hands of Esav. But he just, the voice, the sense of sound, he doesn't trust it enough. And the thing the Midrash says that tipped off Yitzchak is that when Yitzchak said to him back in the 6th reading, how are you so fast? And Yaakov, pretending to be Esav, responds that God helped me. Yitzchak knew that Esav would never have said that. He never would have said, God helped me do this so quickly. It just wasn't Esav's style, right? As Rabbi Mas alluded to, there was a fundamental difference between Esav and Yaakov. They used to fight in the womb. They were wildly different. Esav was a man who liked to go out in the field. Yaakov was a guy who stayed home. Yaakov was a thinker. Yaakov was a God guy. Esav was not. And so for Yaakov pretending to be Esav, what a mistake. Almost blew the whole thing up. And that's why immediately after that, Yitzchak says, wait, come close. I need to feel you. I need to give you a hug. I need to see if it's actually you. Because the Esav I know never would have thanked God for this working out so quickly. Always thought that was an interesting midrash, very telling. There's lots of great things along the way, but we've had such a chock-full morning with our celebrations, our commemorations, our learning together. Hopefully you've enjoyed this Torah reading. We've got one more crack at Maftir again, page 156, 24 through 27, and our Maftirah is Barb Neiman. Ta'amod bracha bad Yoel Yitzchak v'Leah Maftirah Chizki.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayomer atazeh beni Esav, Vayomer ani, Vayomer hagisha li ve'ochla mitzed beni, leman tevarechecha nafshi, vayigash lo vayochal, vayavelo, yain vayesh, Vayomer elav Yitzchak avi, Keshana ushkali beni, Vayigash vayishak lo vayarach, Et reach begadav vavarchehu, Vayomer reach beni kereach sadeh, Asher bercho Adonai.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yeshur kochechem to all of our honorees this morning. The Haftarah for Toldot comes from the book of Malachi. You can find it in the Eitz Chaim, page 163, or it's Malachi chapter 1, verses 1 through 14. The entirety of chapter 1, the book of Malachi, one of the 12 minor prophets. A little trivia for you. I think I'm right about this. Chronologically speaking, if you organized all of the books of the Tanakh from the timeline, Malachi is last. I think that's true. Someone can check and let me know. Page 163, Malachi, chapter 1, verses 1 through 14. But just before we do that, we invite you wherever you are to rise as we have Bill Wiseman for Hagba and Glila, the lifting and tying of the Sefer Torah. Please rise. Oh, there he is. Vezot HaTorah asher sam Moshe b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai Biad Moshe, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Udvar Adonai Yerushalayim. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Udvar Adonai Yerushalayim. Baruch Shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael. Baruch Shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Please be seated. It's now time for the Haftarah. Barb, whenever you're ready. Yeah. Take it away.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratza b'divrei hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo Uvinviei hamet v'tzedek. Masad v'Adonai el Israel beyad malachi. Ahavti etchem amar Adonai v'martem bama ahavtanu haloach Esav le'Yaakov ne'um Adonai Va'ohav et Yaakov, vet Esav neti, ve'asim et harav shemama, vet nachalato latanot midbar. Ki tomar edom rushashnu, vanashuv venivne chorvot, ko amar Adonai tzvaot, hema yivnu va'ani he'eros, ve'kar'u lahem gevul risha ve'ha'am, asher sa'av Adonai ad olam. V'nechem tir'ena ve'atem tomru, yigdal Adonai me'al Ligvul Yisrael, ben yechabed av ve'eved Adonav, v'im av ani ayeh kvodi, v'im adonim ani ayeh morai, amar Adonai tzvaot, lachem hakohanim Bozei shemi v'amartem v'ameh v'azinu et shmecha magishim al mizbechi lechem mego'al v'amartem v'ameh ge'al nucha ve'emorchem shulchan Adonai nivzehu v'kitagishun Iver lisboach ein ra v'ki tagishu piseach v'chole ein ra hakrivehu na lefechatecha hayirtzecha o hayisaf anecha amar Adonai tzvaot. Ve'ata chaluna pnei el v'chonenu mi'etchem ha'itazot ha'isa michem panim amar Adonai tzvaot. Mi gam bachem v'yiskor delatayim v'lo ta'iru mizbechim chinam. Ein li chefetz בכם, אמר אדוני צבאות, ומנחה לא ארצה מעתכם. כי ממזרח שמש ועד מבואו, גדול שמי בגויים, ובכל מקום מוכתר מוגש לשמי ומנחה טהורה, כי גדול שמי בגויים, אמר אדוני צבאות. ואתם מחללים אותו במורכם, שולחן אדוני מגואל הוא, ונבאו נבזה אוכלו. ואמרתם, הנה מטלה, והפיככתם אותו, אמר אדוני צבאות, והבאתם גזול, ואת הפיסח ואת החולה, ואהבתם את המנחה, הרצה אותה מידכם, אמר אדוני. בארור נוכל, ויש ועדרו זכר ונודר, וזובח מושחת לאדוני, כי מלך גדול אני, אמר אדוני צבאות, ושמי נורא בגויים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, צור כל העולמים, צדיק בכל הדורות, האל הנאמן, האומר ועושה, המדבר ומקיים, שכל דבריו אמת וצדק. נאמן אתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו, ונאמנים דבריך, ודבר אחד מדבריך, אחור לא ישוב ריקם, כי אל מלך נאמן ורחמן אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני.
ברכו ברוך שמו.
האל הנאמן בכל דבריו.
אמן.
רחם על ציון כי היא בית חיינו, ולעלובת נפש, תושיע במהרה בימינו, ברוך אתה אדוני.
ברכו ברוך שמו.
משמח ציון בבניה.
אמן.
שמחנו אדוני אלוהינו באליהו הנביא עבדך, ובמלכות בית דוד משיחך, במהרה יבוא ויגל ליבנו, על כיסו לא ישב זר, ולא ינחלו עוד אחרים את כבודו, כי בשם קודשך נשבעת לו, שלא יכבה נרו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני.
ברכו ברוך שמו.
מגן דוד.
אמן.
על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים ועל יום השבת הזה, שנתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו, לקדושה ולמנוחה, לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל, אדוני אלוהינו, אנחנו מודים לך, ומברכים אותך, יתברך שמך, בפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני.
ברכו ברוך שמו.
מקדש השבת.
Amen. Well done. Shir kochech to Barb Neiman. Torah reading, Haftarah reading, helping us fill the void with Leslie not here this morning. A trifecta. Tremendous. Great job. And as someone said on the chat, I believe it was Murray Nazen, he wanted to say, and I thought it was beautiful, a wonderful tribute to your dad. I thought that he caught it. A lot of great love. Make sure you check the chat. Make sure you check the chat, especially from Yuda. He gave you 1, 2, 3, 4 strong arms and a thumbs up. Emojis are great.
Yeah, hard to imagine.
Yeah. Our thanks to Barb. Truly wonderful. Rabbi Mas is back on the Bima. Great job with the Zumaliyas today, my man. Can't wait to hear the Dvar Torah from Rabbi Mas coming up in just a couple of minutes. Before that, we'll be taking the Torah back. And before that, with the Torah still out, we have time to make one more Misha Berach. You know, this is maybe the most important Misha Berach of the morning, the one for all those people we know who are sick. I'm going to read a list of names. If you'd like to add some names, throw them in the chat right now. We'll try and compile them, add them to our list. And you can add lists every month by calling the office. We read them 4 Shabbatot in a row for people you know. Also, if you know somebody who is sick and would want a phone call or maybe a Zoom visit from myself, Rabbi Mas, or somebody else, please let us know. Please let us know. We'd be happy to do that. We're connecting with people all the time. And when we hear about that, we would gladly set something up, chat for half an hour, whatever it takes to kind of pop in and do our version of Bikur Cholim during these times. So please let us know that as well. You can send all messages to us through the office. We'll get them, we promise. So on our list this week, here are the folks we're praying for in this week's Misha Berach. Moshe ben Tzivia, Shendel bat Miriam, Hachazan Shefer ben Miriam, Barbara Bader, Corinne Ackerman, Lois Ackerman, Alfie Glass, Gail Latouche, Rachel bat Sonia, Sheila Streifler, Tzadok Leib ben Surariva, Doba Riva bat Masha, Katriel Yosef ben Tova Yael, Eliezer Meir ben Tova Yael bat Dina Rachel, Yitzchak Chaim ben Sarah, Dina Rachel bat Sarah Esther, David Tzvi ben Sarah Pessel, Kayla Pearl bat Golda, Yitzchak Dov ben Bela, bat Sheva bat Sarah, Daniel ben Dvorah, Chaya Zahava bat Leah, Isabella bat Sarah, Yaakov ben Sion ben Miriam, Aviva bat Malka, Rishon ben Sarah, Shlomo Lei ben Chasya, Miriam Rachel bat Leah, Moshe Aharon ben Leah, Frida bat Regina, Adrian McDonald, Shoshana bat Sarah, Yaakov ben Sarah, Sarah bat Esther, Esther bat Mina, Chandra Claire Ozeki, Donna Barnson, Sharon bat Golda, Elukim Pesach ben Esther Pessi.
Ben Bracha, Tima Rivka bat Yehudit, Herbert Singer, Carla bat Nancy, Andres ben Gloria, and Sam's List, Tina Shomtov, I think it is, Tima Rivka bat Yehudit, Moshe Tzvi ben Sarah, Eliezer ben Sarah. I think that's it.
Sarah Aronson as well. We see you're with us. You've asked. We'll add you to our prayers as well. Thank you, Bill, for keeping an eye. Thank you to everyone who sent in names on the chat. And let's now pray. We're back in our Siddur on page 34, the special Misha Berach, the version by Debbie Friedman, Zichrona Livracha.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mikol Abraha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishe Beida Imotenu Mekor Abraham Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah Shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
invite you now to rise wherever you are. We are on page 41, returning the Sefer Torah to the Ark with Yahallelu.
יהללו את שם אדוני, כי נשגב שמו לבדו. אותו על ארץ ושמיים, וירם קרן לעמו. תהילה, תהילה לכל חסידיו, לבני ישראל עם קרובו. Hallelujah, hallelujah,
Hallelujah,
hallelujah, hallelujah.
hallelujah. Page 43.
עץ חיימי למחזיקים בה ותומכיה מאושר תדחיה דרכי נועם וכל נתיבותיה שלום השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה חדש ימינו חדש ימינו חדש ימינו כקדם.
You may be seated. Services this evening, we do a quick psalm in lieu of mincha because our 6 o'clock service is well after the sun has set. And so our Mariv service tonight with Bill Wiseman will feature Havdalah with our own Rena Sector Elbaz. That's beginning tonight at 6 o'clock, Mariv, and then Havdalah for the conclusion of Shabbat. Bill Wiseman's got Shacharit and Mincha Mariv tomorrow, Shacharit at 9, Mincha Mariv at 6 for anyone who has a yort site coming up tomorrow on the calendar. Then during the week, Monday through Friday, Shacharit 7:30, Monday through Thursday, Mincha Mariv 6 p.m., Kabbalat Shabbat 5:30. Next Saturday morning, Shabbat 10 o'clock, Parshat Vayetze, a postponed bar mitzvah, which we're now calling a bar mitzvah preview. Sam DeKresh will join us by Zoom to chant his haftarah and its blessings for Parshat Vayetze, and to get us ready and excited for when things, hopefully in a couple of months, allow us to get 45 people back in here so he can have some family, maybe some friends, the synagogue, and then have the rest of his bar mitzvah ceremony. But he is next Shabbat, a bar mitzvah preview. You like that?
Yeah, too bad that he cannot present the Dvar Torah.
Well, he will when we get to the bar mitzvah.
Yeah, we were working so hard on that one, and it's a great one. Don't miss that one. It will be a great teaching.
Just be honest. The reason why you're bummed that he can't do the Dvar Torah on Zoom is because that means that you have to prep a Dvar Torah for next week.
It's a it's a good parsha.
But let's not look ahead. Let's hear the Dvar Torah for today. All to you.
Okay.
Thank
you. Actually, I'm picking up from when you were talking about Isaac and his humility, basically.
When I told that midrash about the digging the wells.
Yeah, but in general, I want to
Sure.
build on top a little bit today, if that's okay with you.
If I say no, we're in a bit of a pickle here if I say no. So
Well,
I'll say it's okay.
Then I have to change my notes.
Go for it.
I will go
B'hatzlacha.
for it, but first, before that,
A joke.
a joke, of course. Yeah, this is about a very modest and humble rabbi who died, went to heaven, and God decided to go do something special for him because this rabbi was so humble and so modest. So God decided to send Abraham to receive him into heaven. And Abraham goes to the gates and said, "Welcome to heaven, my dear rabbi." And the rabbi said, No, sorry, I can't go like that. And Abraham said, "What a modest and humble guy. I'm going to report to God." So he tells God, and God says, "Oh, this is a very humble person, so I'm going to do something extra special for him." So God sent Elijah the prophet. So Elijah goes to the gates and said, "Welcome to heaven, my dear Rabbi." And the rabbi said, No, sorry, no, I can't go like that. And Elijah said, "Wow, what a humble person. I'm going to report to God." So Elijah goes and reports, and God said, "Wow, I have to do something extra special." So God sends Moses to receive this rabbi. Moses said, "Welcome to heaven, my dear Rabbi." And the rabbi said, No, I can't go like that. So Moses goes to report to God, and God said, "Come on, what's going on here?" God himself goes to the gate, looks at the rabbi, and said, "What's going on? I sent you Abraham. I sent you Elijah. I sent you Moses. How come you cannot enter to heaven?" And the rabbi said, "We are the photographers." So I want to talk to you today about...
That one needed a little music or something after that. That one was something.
Anyway. I want to talk to you today about away from the spotlight. And there is something very interesting that I learned this week, and it's all about the name of the parsha. The name of the parsha is Toldot, because it starts Ve'ele, Toldot, Yitzchak. But there is another place in the Torah where the parsha starts the same way. And it's Ve'ele, Toldot, Noah. And what is the name of the parsha?
Noah.
So the rabbis are kind of intrigued why the parsha is not called Yitzchak. Because it's the same opening to the other Torah portion, that it started the same, and the name of the portion was Noah, when it was talking about Noah. And it's interesting because the rabbis are actually saying that Isaac was different than Noah. Well, we already learned that when we compared Noah with Abraham, and how Noah didn't do anything to save the world, what Abraham tried to save Sodom and Gomorrah, but we never actually compare Noah with Isaac. And now the rabbis go to that extra step, and they compare Noah with Isaac. And basically, the rabbis were saying, because of the fact that Noah did great things, we are not going to deny that, but there was no one coming after the steps of Noah. We have to wait 10 generations until Abraham comes into the picture, and then he became somebody important who left the mark into his generation. But for 10 generations, nothing happens. Nothing was created after Noah. So the rabbis explained that the reward for Noah was to have his name in that parsha. That parsha was named after him for everything great that he did. But the reward of Isaac were the generations, the Toldot, that came after him, thanks of everything that he did in this world. And the fact that he never wanted any kind of honor, any kind of fame, any kind of payback for everything great that he did. Isaac was a humble person. If you read about his life, it looks like he didn't do much. He never left the land of Israel. It looked like he was always under the shadow of his father. But in fact, what that is doesn't mean that he didn't do anything great. What it means is that he didn't want any spotlight. He wanted no fame. He didn't want a plaque in the wall. He didn't want a statue in the park. But nevertheless, he was the one who helped others. And he was the one who blessed others. Even when he was too old to do anything else, he still had a blessing for his children. And it's something that eventually Jacob learned. And when Jacob was in his deathbed, he also blessed his children. Isaac was there to the last minute, and he always had something to give to others without attracting any spotlight to his life. His reward, his satisfaction was that he was able to create greatness in other people. That reminds me to a story that I learned, something that happened in a yeshiva. And there were two people there that they were disputing to each other, and it was very heated. And one stopped this kind of dispute and looked at the other, and I said, what are you disputing with me? Don't you know that I'm a meyuchas? You know what a meyuchas is? You know what ichus is? Someone with a lineage, right? Someone who is coming from a prestigious family. I said, do you know who I am? Do you know who my father is? Do you know who my grandfather is? Do you know who my great-grandfather is? What are you there disputing with me? Because the other one, the person, was an ordinary person. No hijos, no lineage. So the other person said, you know what? You're right. You might come from a very prestigious family. But based on your arrogance, I can tell that your lineage ended with you. And I will do all what I can so my lineage will begin with me. So this reminds me to these challenging times, to these pandemics. And sometimes we watch on TV and we see all these big names that they're doing things and they're getting all the credits, but sometimes we forget the Isaacs of the world, the secret heroes that they are doing great things day after day without attracting any spotlight, without requesting any plaques in the wall, without wanting any statues in the park, and without having any books named after them. But nevertheless, thousands and thousands of people are doing great things day after day without attracting any spotlights to them. They don't want us to throw them a party. They don't want anything. But nevertheless, we should be able to recognize all the great things that they do and how, thanks to that tireless work, they are creating Toldot. They are creating generations. They are creating great people that they are going to come after them because everything that they do. And my question and challenge for each one of you is, what are you doing to generate Toldot? What are you doing to create greatness on someone else? And I realize that this is the time where we have so much to give, because it's nice to receive, but it's a time to give to others. Even if you know that everything that you're going to give is not going to be noticed by anyone, because God always notices what we do, and what is more important, the generations and the stories that will come after us will be the reward of all the hard work and all the wonderful things that we can give to the world. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Rav. Yasher Koach. A great message. A really, really great message. We're getting to the end of our service. It's been so nice to have all of you with us. Aleinu, Kaddish, and Adon Olam are our last three stops on this Shabbat morning. Aleinu is page 44. We invite you wherever you are to get on up with us, to rise. Again, Rabbi, Aleinu, you ready?
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם.
ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא,
שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרוב השמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו וגובה מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב
תורתו, וידעת היום, וידעת היום, והשבותה אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ,
ועל הארץ
מתחת אין עוד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ,
ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
אחד, ושמו Please remain standing for the Mourner's Kaddish, which is on page 46. This week, we mourn the passing of Luba Zalkind and extend our sincere condolences to Dorothy Halick and to Rochelle Anderson. We extend our condolences to families still in Shloshim, still in the first month of losing a loved one, to the families of Gwen Nelko, Jack Schindelman, Sharon Goralnik, Robbie Hyman, and Lindy Greenberg. This week, we commemorate the yortzites of Laura Burke, sister of Alan Cantor, Max Cham, father of Bonnie Cham, Max Kirshner, grandfather of Cindy Singer, Etty Robinson, mother of Bonnie Robinson, Tubirio Tibby Abraham, remembered by Lauren and Louise Raber, Meyer and Sarah Sakanovsky, parents of Zelda Elkin, Mary Gelfand, grandmother of Terry Kushner, Harry Singer, father of Michelle Singer and Ron Singer, Stanley Fox and Mina Engel, remembered by the Engel family, Sam Sipe, uncle of Jackie Sipe, and Max Sipe, father of Jackie Sipe, all of blessed memory. May the memories of everyone we remember today and this week be a blessing to all those who remember them. Page 46, Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach irutei v'amlich malchutei b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru Amen.
Amen.
Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'alam ulamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei dekudsha B'richu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen.
Amen.
Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Amen.
You may be seated. Thank you to the people who helped with this service. Bill Wiseman, our shamus, thank you so much. Barb Neiman, our volunteer Torah reader and Haftarah reader, beautiful. My favorite Marvin Polanski, audiovisual director, doing a great job. Thank you, Marvin. Should have seen Marvin yesterday sending me texts during the Friday night service. He's very passive aggressive with his notes. You know, a little more keyboard would be nice. Just tell me you need more keyboard, Polanski. Come on. Come right out and say it. It's fine, but a little more would be nice. Like, come on.
Rabbi, he's
I don't
polite.
want to have to decode it.
He's very polite.
That's true. He's like a Yitzchak. He doesn't want any spotlight. I'm telling you, Marvin, I need more.
That's okay.
And thank you to Rabbi Anibal Mas.
But it's amazing.
Beautiful.
Actually, people don't realize, what Marvin in the corner, he's like the orchestra man.
yeah,
Totally.
exactly.
Playing 5 instruments at the same time with only 2 hands.
If he flicked a switch, the whole thing would turn off. He's the most important guy we've got. And so I wanted to say thank you to Marvin, Bill, Barb. Thank you to you, Rabbi. Great to have you back. It's actually 2 weeks you're away, because 2 Shabbats ago
I was on holiday.
was your holiday, and last Shabbat we had the COVID scare. So I haven't seen you in a while.
But I was seeing you. Remember the last week I was online.
I know, it was amazing. It was great. It's good to know that we can do that. I don't know about the Torah reading, but we can definitely do a Dvar. That was really great. So we wanted to close with the Don Olam. Which one did you want to do? Page 47.
Let's do Zim.
Oh.
Zol Zain Zim.
Zim Zimini. Ah. Zim Zim Zaru. Where did I put this one you want to do? Aha, there it is. Do you get that? Do you know Mary Poppins? Is that a thing? Is that in your cultural wheelhouse?
Yeah, it is.
He needs an umbrella.
And it's even pronounced the same.
What? Mary Poppins?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Marie.
But actually, it's Mary Poppins.
Poppins. Okay, Adon Olam. Thank you to everyone. Shabbat Shalom to everyone. Thank you to everyone for participating. The biggest thank you of all. Page 47, Adon Olam. We'll see you next time. Hopefully it's not too soon.
אדון עולם אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, לעת נשא בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, ואחרי ככלות הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה, והוא יהיה בתפארה. אדון עולם אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, לעת נשא בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, והוא אחד ואין שני, להמשילו, להכבירה, בלי ראשית בלי תכלית, ולא העוז והמשרה. אדון עולם אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, לעת נשא בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, והוא אלי, בחי גואלי, בצור חבלי, בצרה, והוא ניסים מגנוס לי, בין הכוסים ביום מקרא. אדון עולם אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, לעת נשא בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, בידו הפקיד רוחי, בעת תשען מהעירה, ועם רוחי כביאתי, אדון אלי ולא ידע. אדון עולם אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, לעת נשא בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא.
Shabbat Shalom. What
Shabbat
a
Shalom, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And remember to subscribe to our channel. We'd love to notify you every time we go live.